Well, hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to this channel, Creativity Incorporated. Today, I have a very, um, I'm not saying emotional journal, but and not because it means something to me, but because what it put me through. Okay, so I want to explain the journal and the process it went through, even though it took some left turns and some U turns and some right turns. I mean, it went to the second floor. It was all over the place. Okay. Here, I am planning to make sort of like a mold. So I'm using leftover egg carton, like kind of like Play-Doh. It's not Play-Doh, but it's egg carton with water blended with glue. So it kind of I want to make a wave kind of pattern. So I'm grabbing this just kind of like as my basis because I noticed that it came into like little ball patterns, like blobs of balls. So I figured I would take that to my advantage and use that to make to help shape my pattern of waves. And that's why I use this material. It's like free pretty much. Well, I need the PVA glue, but um other than that, it's an awesome material. I used it to make a bark looking tree um, stump, or not stump, but the tree trunk, sorry. And it worked great for that too. So, for a Christmas tree, sorry. But I'm pretty much shaping it here with my fingers, doing sort of like a wave where it's kind of like up and down, but then I don't want it to be up and down per se. I want it to be like, when the kind of like the waves and they're meeting each other and kind of like waving around. I don't know what that would be called. I'm sure there's a term for it, but I don't know the term. So I have made that sort of like my base, so I don't make a big blob of gesso and do it that way. So I use this as a base. Then I grab my gesso and kind of shape it or make it smooth with that. I'm trying to um, follow the same pattern without using the gesso and filling up. You know how I made up and down? I don't want to fill up the bottoms as much. So I was trying to be aware of the fact that I'm trying not to let it sit and pull on the on the up and down wave part, so I can keep that structure of the up and down wave. So I use the gesso because at the end of the day, gesso can be smoothed out, right? So once I have all covered, I smooth it out with a watered down version of gesso, right? So here I am just putting on a coat, a very light coat, because after that I can just sand it, right? Make it smooth and still keep it wavy. And because I'm aware that sometimes, I mean, maybe some of the gesso pulled on the bottom of my waves, I intendedly try to sand the bottom of my up and down little waves. So in order for this to become like be able to separate from the epoxy pour that I want to do on it, I need to make the surface smooth. So in order for me to do that, I use this. It's kind of like it's a coat. It doesn't say epoxy or on the box. It just says a clear glossy coat, right? And ultimately that's what I need. So here I am brushing it because I feel like if I was to pour it directly onto my shape, sorry, fireworks. People are going off with fireworks. Anyway, so I feel like if I would have poured it in, that it would fill up again, the bottoms and tops of that. So here it is, all covered up with a nice thick coat. I think I must have done maybe 2 coats of that. And then now I'm ready to make my mold so I can pour my epoxy on top of that. And I'm just pretty much making a strip of cardboard and making sure that it's attached to each other. And then I attach that really well to the bottom and sides of my shape there. Before I make my pour, I have to do like a separator, so a resistant per se, So I'm using, in this case, jelly, petroleum jelly. So make sure, I know it looks kind of crazy, but I'm trying just to, I pretty much poured in a bunch of Vaseline on that so that I ensure that there's enough thick layer to be able to separate both pieces. But I don't even know how to proceed from here. I guess you will see, but very naively, I was still working here, trying to do all kinds of stuff, pouring a 300 pounds of epoxy. I had to go to the store and get some more. I mean, you don't see it here. It's like a couple of days in between uh, that stuff. But I poured a little thin layer, and then um, I my epoxy was gone, so I went to go buy more because on my second coat I wanted to do this little snowflakes so that I have that iridescent look and kind of reflective look that I was going for. Plus, this iridescent had that colors that I'm looking for, which is like pinkish, bluish tones that I really liked. Now, another couple of things here too. I'm thinking that um, the epoxy is good. I'm not seeing that it is yellow here because I'm thinking that the light is what's causing it to be yellow. But that's on a different, that's further down the line. Just, notice that I'm thinking that it looks yellow because my light is yellow, right? Well, I guess you will find out later what happens. But here I am trying to separate my mold from um my pour. This never happened to me before. I've been able to like do my molds and separate my castings really good. It's never really happened to me before because Vaseline has always been my to go for separator or divider, whatever it is, you releaser, to help release it. And it didn't happen, people. Look at me being naive, thinking I'm gonna take it apart. Look it. I'm like, okay, and I'm still trying to be careful because, oh gosh, I don't want to mess it up or break it. And I go at it for ever and ever. And so a tragic tale takes me to a hot water bath. So here I am trying to separate it. I've had it in water bath after water bath for days now in this episode, in this section right here that you're seeing. And I would scrape it and I would wash it and then I would put water and then rub it and then I started breaking it and then I mean honestly this is the longest journal I've worked on forever. I think I by this point I've been on it for maybe a month and I'm not even halfway done with it, It was just like so much of it. And this is me just soaking it for another day in another hot bath. Okay, so I try to take it off as much as I can. Put it in hot water. Um okay, there's a couple of things I know I said I want to show you, but before I do that, I want to point out a couple of things. That snow thing, I don't know. Oh, I can see this way. This is how it would have came out with little textures. Don't you agree would have been beautiful? But fear not, it will still be beautiful. So I am gonna continue to break it and break it even more than what it is now. My nails are so messed up because I've been like trying to do this. But let's see. I want to take these pieces off. For the base of my my new creation cover, I want to do this like onion skin, but I want it coated on that epoxy, or not non-epoxy, or that clear coat. I wanted to see how it looks like. I'm assuming it's gonna look like clear paper, or I don't know. So I wanted to try and see how that looks, because I felt like putting this kind of coating on it would match look or feel or texture. You know what I mean? So I just wanted to try it on that onion skin paper, see how it went. Then under that, because that's see through, under that I want to put this crackled or wrinkled paper with a little bit of blue. It's currently kind of greenish, so I got this pastels, and I kind of like rubbed a little bit of blue on it, just a little bit. I just wanted a little bit. I wasn't like there to color, just a little bit. And then look, but look how cool it's gonna look. Like it looks like water droplets on the thing. How I think I should bind this to the bottom is not with glue, because I can't glue it because the plastic is in between the paper and my this, so I can't glue it. So my next step would be to attach it like via eyelets or screws or something like that. Or I can glue it, but I have to do a hole here, like a hole punch, right? So I have to hole punch it. Let me show you. The reason why I have to hole punch this is so that I can bypass the plastic, and in a sense, when I attach the paper to the back of this, the plastic would be sandwiched in between. And even though if it's not attached, although the paper might be attached, but the plastic bag may not be attached, it's still sandwiched in together, and it's going to be held in a place, sort of like a wash, like a washer in between, like the screw and whatever you're attaching it to. It has a washer, even though it's not attached to anything, it's sandwiched in, and it has a purpose, right? Sort of like that. So I think that's how I'm gonna attach this via hole punch. Alrighty, then we got the hole punched, we got it glued down. But I wanted to put these little risers here because I'm doing the layering of the, I don't know what I would call it, like the plaque. It's not a plaque, is it? Like this water texture looking thing. So because it's gonna have that like second layer in the edges of the opening, I put little risers so the inside of the rest of the place, not the place, the rest of the plate can be like elevated equally, so it doesn't look lumpy or like sanded. And then I'm able to attach the edging of the of what would we call it? Water? What we call it? Water? Let's call it water. Of the water. So once I'm attaching the water layers, I can just glue it as I see it. I ended up changing a little bit after. I don't know if you will see the notice the I mean later, but in between cameras, sometimes I would see something crooked or whatever, and before they dried, I changed things. So if you notice a couple of changes, it's because of that. But anyways, I don't know if I touched up on. Remember I telling you that it's been weeks since I started this journal. The reason why I'm making this water themed journal, it's for I'm the theme is like underwater creatures of a story that I'm writing. So this has to match kind of like my story from another planet, from other creatures, right? And so they live underwater and they have this pink glow. So I have chosen this pink. Oh, sorry, I have chosen this pink paper for the inside because the glow is kind of like to signify the pink that glows from within them, you know. And so I decided to go with this very bright pink. These are the papers that they're not dyed. They are marbled, sorry, marbled with acrylics. And that, if I remember, I'll link a video on this one. But these are all mostly acrylic paints that I use for marbling. It's really fun, and I really love how with the acrylic paint you can like do so much pop color like this. Usually they're a little more dimmer, and so I'm really glad that acrylics worked out great. Okay, so a couple of things. One, look how pretty that looks. Two, I put this wire because I want like a design on it, but I think you can't even see it. Look, you can't even see it on the screen. So I found a thicker one that I think is gonna work better. But man, I wish I had it like even thicker. What if I use clay? I'm wondering. Maybe I should use clay because I want like a hammered look, like if this wire was made like in what is called those iron worker station, and they like beat it into the shape, so like it's hammered. So if I make it out of, I mean, I would love it to be out of wire, but it's still too thin. Look, it still kind of disappears. So if I make it, and I want to make it like a little flatter and hammered look, so I think let's try clay together. Okay, so I made a snake, and I'm a clay snake. And I used the wire just to basically just wrap the clay snake around the wire shape that I have. It was very convenient because I didn't have to deal with the shape as I was baking it. It just kept that shape. And when I took it out of the oven, it stayed that shape. So I like this wire shape under. It was very convenient. Now, my kids brought me this wobble home ball, some kind of weird name, but it's a ball. I like the texture, and I like the colors, and I wanted to somehow incorporate in this book. And I tried the spine, I tried the corners, I tried. It has this very like silicone but rubbery but elastic texture that I really liked. See, I tried to attach it to the corners. It just didn't work out. It doesn't. It looks too like when an actor is faking it, and like it's overacting like that. That's how it felt like. My book was over faking it. I was chatting it up. I gave you guys a joke, all that and all this while I did this, and I didn't even notice it. So I grabbed the piece of wood, I painted it white, and then I did this glass bead gel. One of the things that I mentioned on the clip that I didn't record, but now I'm gonna say, is I was going for the texture of the waves and stuff like that. And now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking maybe this is gonna look better than this, just because of the glass beads and the texture. But I don't remember if this dries uh, clear or white. Mm, I forgot. But um, before it dries, I want to glue some snowflakes on it, just because I don't want to waste more time on it. So okay, so I've done my this thingamajinger, pour on high gloss finish thing, not epoxy apparently. So stir so it's not foggy no more. And then okay, I've painted the this look. at first I had painted with like a regular acrylic paint, but then I painted it with this. Look at the difference. Okay, watch. Look at the smoothness. I don't know. Can you see how smooth that is compared to like an acrylic gold? It's not bad, but I like how this gives it more like a metal look. And so I put a coat of this on top of that gold. Let's see how this goes. Let's see. See, I'm glad I left the wire inside. I didn't like remove the wire because now I can kind of shape it. Note to self, put a wire on this thing all the time. Oh, it looks so good. Okay, on this thing, I put gold under, so you can still see it through and see the gold under, not over. So if I put it over, it's gonna look like a ball of gold. But if I put it under, you still see the texture. See? Anyway, so this is dried. Looks good. I think it's too blue. I should have maybe at the end put a little bit of epoxy on the side and mixed up the blue up a little bit, but it's not a big deal for me. It's okay. I made these for this. So this goes on the top. This piece doesn't have a wire, so, but you could tell, look, see, I can't put it in place or shape it in any way. So I'm gonna have to like really look into gluing it the right way. Anyways, there's that one, and I made a little one for the bottom. You see? It looks so cute, right? Right? Okay, so as for the paper, one of the main reasons why I was concerned about the size of the spine was because I didn't want to waste that much paper. But I have a trick. The trick is to make your paper, like when you coffee dyed it, kind of wrinkle it a little bit so it becomes like very puffy, and therefore it fills in. It's like a filler. So I'm gonna do that here, but I'm going to do a paint job that looks like ombre, which is like a fade from very, not very dark, but blue, or not so watered down to very watered down into eventually white. So it's like intense color, then it kind of like fades the color into like, kind of gets washed out and eventually to white. So it's not from like, it doesn't go from dark color to bright colors. It's the same color, but it's the different intensity. But so I'll dip the bottom and I'll let it sit dry, and then I'll dip. And when I go back and dip again, the second and third and fourth time, I go in and dip it a little less every time, and therefore it creates that ombre look. I don't wait till it's fully dry, so it's about like 75% dry. Then I dip it again, because that way kind of blends in, and you avoid the line, because you know how if you dip it in just regularly, you would have a line. But if your paper is a little bit wet, then it kind of blends in together, and it avoids that one, the just the crease or the line where you dipped it every single time. I don't want that. So don't wait till your paper is fully dried to dip it your second time. I ended up dipping this paper, or this packet of papers, I want to say 4 times, and I really liked it. So it was like an all day thing. Okay, guys, it's been a couple of days since, not days, weeks since we started this project. I had to go to San Francisco. I had the pleasure of going with my son and my second son. I have an older son and a second son. His name is Blue. It was an absolute pleasure to go with him. He he just made everything so interesting, and it was such a uh I don't know, I get teary right now because in this trip I swear this trip he started a boy, and then when we came back home he was like a young man. if you guys ever have an opportunity to do something like that with your kids, don't miss it. It was just one of those times that I wish everybody in this world would have with their sons, or every mother should have with their sons, right? Anyways, um, let's not get teary up anymore, and let's continue. Okay, so before we move on with the video, in our trip to San Francisco, I stopped by my store, my dream store, that one store that you always wanted to go to, and it finally came true. So I went to, some of you might know what this is, the Box SF. It's the owner is Mark, and he is the best of the best. He just takes his time to talk to you and be your friend, become your friend, and I really loved him, and he paid such a good attention to me and my son on our San Diego trip. It's the most beautiful antique store I have ever seen in my whole entire life. And this is what I got from that store. I didn't get that much because my car was loaded, as you guys can imagine when you guys do shows and stuff. But this is how he packages his like little things. How do you get it out? Okay, that means I'm gonna have to do this whole thing. Toss. Packaging. It's like a packaging within packaging within packaging. Look. Like there's a paper and in between two cardboards. And this is it. This is that. He gave me this one for free. But then I bought these two. Look at it. It's so beautiful. For my garden book. I got two of them. I got lettuce and peas. Oh, I love the graphic on these. And then I bought these little milk bottles, toppers or tops, something like that they're called. But I got 3 of these. And then this is the piece of the resistance. It's not the piece of the resistance, but it's the piece of resistance. Guess what it is? Quick. It's one of my collections. Ready? If you've been here, for a while, you know how many I have now. This is probably number 51, between 50 and 53. But isn't it beautiful? Look at it. It's perfect. Okay, so I got that from his store. Then I went out. If you're in San Francisco on Sunday, on a Sunday morning, Saturday morning, definitely go to it's like a swap meet, like in the middle of the city, but it's like on a little parking lot. It's like the smallest swap meet I've been to, but it has all the right stuff. You know what I mean? I bought all these vintage trims and threads and bindings and all that stuff. We got all these. And then, let me see what I get. Is this from there? Oh no, these are money. This is ephemera I got from there. I went to Daiso and I got a few things for my next Disney book because my current Disney book is about to pop. We went to an origami store with my son, so he made me a thing. I think that's it from this. The mini donuts, of course, at the Pier 39. But look at this. Look at the graphic. This is... Isn't it crazy? I love it. Smoke a banana. I loved it so much. So I have that. I don't know why I didn't buy it. He had like 4 different types. I'm like halfway here and I'm thinking I'm loving my matches. I'm like, why did I not buy all of them? I don't know. It's, in my head, I was like, I don't use matches. But then I was like, who cares about the matches, right? Anyways. But the one thing I really loved buying at that swap meet, they had a person selling rocks. I got these. These are cute. But the most important thing I got is this. It's an amber stone. I don't know if you could see, but it's hundreds of years old. This amber stone. People were looking at it. It was this African gentleman that he brought like a lot of stones and um different kinds of stones from Africa. And he had African honey. I don't know why I didn't get African honey. I was just like tired, I guess. I don't know. But he gave me this one at a very cheap price, but I feel like I messed up. I should have gotten a bigger one and then put a little glass display. The whole time from like halfway down the point to this way, I was like, why didn't I spend like the $20 and got me a nice size, put a cute little display? The whole time when I was there, I was thinking of my daughter because she collects stones. But in reality, this is not just any stone. This is a hundreds of years. He said thousands-year old amber, but I don't know. It could be just hundreds, but I I really don't think it's from like the dinosaur era, but it could be. I made um I made my own imitation amber. Now that I'm looking at mine, it has nothing to do with it. Look, but now I know I have a reference. This is I made a glue blob, like a goop, and then I made a wire mosquito, and I nailed it to the book because it's a dinosaur book. But like the difference in amber, right? Now that I know how they look like. Anyways, we shall continue back with the regularly scheduled program. But all that to say that this thing yellowed. Let me turn on the light, see if you can see it better. Well, my light is yellow, so even more yellow shows up. Here, let me turn it on. Okay. Can you see it's yellowish? Maybe it's not picking up so much on the camera. But trust me, this thing, remember, it was like whitish, and now it's yellowish. It has nothing to do that what me and you did. I mean, what you did is the epoxy. Look, see, it's yellow. Um, which sucks, but see, like on this thing, I don't know if you can see, it's a little yellowish. Like some areas are not, like this area is not, but this area is because of the amount probably. But we're all right. We're okay. If anything, I could probably use see if I can in an alcohol ink. Maybe if I can use a spot on it and see if I can no, no. But then I have this one. This one's all white because I didn't use that much of it. So I mean, if I had to pick between this yellowing one and this all white one, to be honest, I prefer this one. Like, makes it look older, right? But I think, still holds the theme of water. I mean, this is so cool because this is the ideal transition, right? So it's like cover the spine and the back, but because this has still white spots, but it still has yellowish. I don't know. I just think it's perfect. But I could always use a little bit of alcohol or um, one of my gel stains that you guys see me use to, you know, brown it up a little bit. But I love how I don't love it. Do I? I don't know, but I wouldn't want this. I kind of appreciate this. I don't know. Anyways, so we last left on this thing here. So this is not glued yet. Would you glue it? See, here, let's turn on the light. Okay, so let's see. Can you see? Okay. I painted the nugget on the bottom gold so you can still see through all the little bubbles and still make it clear, like it still looks gold, right? So I put it like that. I don't know why it was upside down, but I like it like that. Now, this whole is a coincidence. The glue drop is a coincidence. Would you glue that there? Would you do it? I don't know. Would you do a gold or maybe a purple, right? Or like a pink, like another color, so it stands out. I don't know. Maybe we'll see. But I want to glue them down already. Glue everything together. It was such a long time ago. I don't remember if we glued this or not. I don't think it's glued actually. I just realized this might cause me issues to glue my spine. Ooh, Diana, you didn't think this through. You know, if you guys have been here long enough or before, I start with the project vision plan, but in reality, there's no, well, not a plan. There's there's just, I don't know. There's always a gamble. Anyway, so I think I'm gonna do this. Glue that down there. And then on this side, what I can do is just cut out this much and glue this much. Or just glue a notch here, that way I can glue it in here. Okay, let's do that. Let me get my scissors. And let's mark it down. So, we'll do here. We'll cut this off. To here. We'll cut this off. And then we'll cut this off. And then we'll cut this off. Wait. The other way. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, so I started doing this before I started recording because I knew it was going to take me a long time. It's probably not going to be the greatest. It's probably going to be the worst binding I've ever done in my whole entire life. But, okay, so remember how I said when you dye it, it gets thicker, so see? Okay, so what I've been doing is this. I've been making clusters. Not clusters. Yeah, clusters of stitching. In no particular order, just kind of like going in like this. And then pulling it. Dang it. Kind of like this. If I could, okay, so my idea when I first thought of this was a bit different. So I wanted to sew this idea. So because in my sewing machine, it has like a leaf pattern when you sew it. But I'm not a good, my husband just gave me this, not just gave me, but gave me a sewing machine without me knowing how to use it. But he gave it to me because I wanted it, right? But it's one of the things like, oh, I want one so I can learn. And yet I tried to do stitching, as you guys saw in my video before. I tried, trying to learn because, you know, I want to dress my 8-year-old little girl. I feel like it would be such a treat if I can like make her clothes that doesn't fall apart while she's at school, and then she has to call me so I can take her clothes. But yes, that happened. Anywho, my idea was just to make a little cluster of like stitches. One down here, one up here. I don't know why I started here. Actually, I don't think I even started here now that I'm thinking about it. It started over here. Anyways, so you see what I'm doing? I'm just putting one next to it and just clustering it up. Pretty much. I don't oh, anyways, I had lost my train of thought, but here it is. I had thought about like going and stitching on this side like a little vine, and then coming from this side and then stitch like this both pages, right? But I felt like the paper could not take that much stitching. And also, I'm not too good at it, so I was gonna keep on ripping my paper. And also, I wanted to use this thick thread, and my sewing machine doesn't do this thick thread. And so, because I wanted to use this color, if I would have used a thinner one, I feel like it wouldn't be so like impactful ish. Is that the word? Like it so noticeable a cluster. That I don't think I would like it as much. Anywho, sort of like this. And then, okay, let's do the last two. Okay, I have my sort of book, right? So, but I don't want them just to look like that. So, remember we're going for an old sea theme, no, sea creature theme. No, I don't know. Anyway, so I put a little bit of water here. And I'm gonna add a little bit of drops of this. It's called transparent yellow iron oxide. I can't believe I got it for $3 in a yard sale. I think I've shared with you guys that day at the yard sale. Anyways, so I have that much. Today we're gonna work like this. And I'm gonna come and do this. And if you're wondering if I'm gonna do this per page, yes. I'm trying to blend the page to the thread. So this is me marrying them. Oh no, it's ripping them apart. Okay, I gotta be more careful. Okay, now the book barely covers this. Like it has a little bit left over, like lip from the paper. I think you could see it once we put it together. I think you will be able to see it. And sometimes I'm okay with that. Today I'm not, but I have an idea. I'm gonna grab a little bit of coffee water because you know how this thing has like an H look to it. I'm gonna go for that sort of, but then I also want the tone from this thing that we did over here added on here. So I've never done this in a mass production like this, but I want to. So I think I can do a few at a time. Anyways, I want to cut about this much off the what's it called, the page, and I don't want to rip it. I want to wet it and then take it off. Let's see. It's soaked enough. Yep. Oh, perfect. Yes. Perfect. Yes. Look at it. And the reason why I did all these coloring to it, because I wanted to leave that like age look to it. So I think I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna do that to all of these, and we'll be right back. Okay, guys. So here it is. I ended up loving it more
with this light and at night because it doesn't look yellow, it looks goldish. You guys know what I mean? I guess especially because of the reflection. I don't know, but I really like it. I wish I could put my camera more up, but it doesn't. There you go. It's all in frame right there, sort of. Look at it. Oh, so good. I even liked how the white, some of the white stayed on here. I really liked all of it. Now ready? You're not ready for the inside. Oh, so good. I really like this. I don't like this. Looks like the bottom three teeth of a baby. I don't know. I need to fix this. But so far I like it. I don't know how I feel about these two being different color. Um I mean I could always put a piece of pink here, or I could always paint over this. But I don't want to paint over this, and I don't want to paint over that. So, oh, maybe I can grab white paint and dab and kind of like blend this into white and then blend this into white. So it's kind of like, maybe, I don't know. Yeah, quiet down. So I made these things. They kind of resemble the things from the front. And then I hinged it. Let me take it off. Oh yeah, that's how you open it, baby. Look at. Okay, stay open. Stay open. There you go. And then here's our block. Our beautiful, beautiful block of paper. And here it is. I see, like, kind of like it this way. I don't know. Anyways, I made the same bottom that I did for sort of for this one. See how kind of like it goes in. This one goes in weird, but this one it goes in this way, and it goes out this way, and then the tips, because I didn't have space to bring it out from the outside like I did on this side, like right here. I just decided to make a hole. Let me take care of this dog. Give me a second. Okay, so as I was saying, my dog is in here, and so it's like I'm trying to separate them, but he does that all day long. Anywho, so it kind of goes into a hole here, and it came out, and I just left it out looking like a little screw. So it goes here, here, out, in, up, and then through. See? And then here I did the same thing as I did here. I did the wire base, and then I did the the Sculpey, and then I baked it and then painted it. Now that I'm looking at it, this one's a lot thicker than this one. Oh well, it's okay. I don't mind. I was thinking I could like tie, yeah, sort of like that. Tie it to something, maybe like a string, a leather string. But I don't want to bring leather into this because then I feel like it defeats the purpose of us trying to be different, right? So there's our binding, right? And it looks funny, right? Like not funny, but like it makes you wonder what were you thinking, but I don't know. It's held on together quite well. It's fun. It's interactive, right? It works. These stay here. So these kind of stay, see? And then see how it looks better with a little edge cut this way? And then look how good it looks this way. See, it kind of goes together. And then when I'm not over, but when I'm done with all the books from my world building, I want to tell you guys the story. It's a beautiful story. I'm typing up a kind of like a short version so I can read it to you, sort of like in the background as I'm like kind of flipping through the stories books or something maybe. I don't know, but this is the second book of the series, and let me see. Let me pull out the first one. Okay. And this is my first one. They're kind of the same size, kind of like that. I think I want to work on. I feel like if they're not fat, they're not old. Okay, so I feel like the older books tend to be fatter. So to me, like if I want to give the illusion of it being a fat book, I mean an old book, I need it to be fat. I don't think it's right per se, but in my mind, like this feels old because part of it because it's fat. Same here, but the spine is not as intriguing as this one is. So maybe I'll be adding. Oh, I definitely will be adding because on this one I added the writing, the made up writing for my character from the storyline. So this is something about the trees here. I made up my own kind of writing. It talks about how they live and about their trees and the animals, and it talks about like their plants and stuff like that. And so, and this is the writing of this land, and so I wanted to do that here, but I'm my I'm because I'm trying to finish the story. I'm trying to determine whether I'm going to stick to this kind of writing through all the lands, or each land will it have its own writing, or what? Or is it just gonna be drawings on this one? Which is I thought that's what I thought that it would be just drawings, or will all the books be written from one person or one character about each land? That's what I'm still deciding. So that's why there's no writing on this one and no title like this one. But anyways, till next time, guys. I love you guys, and I'm sorry it took me a while to get this video. I've been a little stressing over videos, but I mean, last week's video got what 21 views in like 3 weeks, and so I decided not to be so stressed about it because I'm really stressing, and I feel like maybe I shouldn't be because like I don't know. I don't want to say that the 21s that view my last video didn't matter. Actually, they matter more because they're less. You know what I mean? I really valued at least those 21 people like cared enough to like watch my videos. But I feel like I'm putting too much pressure on me, my family, my business, to my grandkids. Now I'm number 5. I mean number 6. Can you guys believe it? I'm number 6. And so, I'm trying not to stress so much over this. And so sometimes you may get a little less videos. I'm gonna still try to get you as many videos as possible. I love interacting with you guys. I love creating, so I love recording it and putting out there and sharing it with you guys, and hoping and praying the whole time that you guys like it. If you like it, it a thumbs up appreciates it and lets YouTube know that hey, this chick's doing something that's kind of alright. So I appreciate you guys, and I love you guys. Thank you to all have been here, through all my journey. I really appreciate you guys and think of you guys, and I pray for all of you guys that are safe and are crafting and that are happy. I love you guys. Till next time, stay safe. Bye.